I've got a gentleman here from a regional town, and he's had he heard today about a doctor in Colac that was giving exemptions, and he needs a vaccination status to keep his job. So he went to Colac to get an exemption. And can you tell us the story from there? And let's call you Jock.
We got there at 9:30, and so when we pulled up, it was a few cars just down below the clinic, but we hadn't been there at the clinic before, so we didn't know what to expect. It felt like a mission, to be honest with you, in terms of, like a secret mission. Like what?
Yeah.
Who's going to be there? This is like being part of the French Resistance,
Yeah.
Who we're going to see. And as we got out the car, because I'm quite savvy like that. So I thought I'll do a little recce, and then I pulled up to the clinic, and the cars, all the car spaces were all taken. And I'd done my recce. There was people there in the queue. So I said to my wife at that point, I was convinced now we're on here, because I didn't know if it was going to be a big clinic, a big formal clinic where, we also looked for the doctor in the car we also looked for the doctor whilst we were driving to the clinic.
Oh, like on a Google or something.
Yeah, to make sure we can identify him, to see, because this is the guy that we want. I want to be able to see and go, no, it's him we're going for, because I didn't know how the other medical practitioners were at. You had no idea.
Yeah.
So I dropped them off, drove back down the hill, parked the car quickly, and I parked it for a good exit as well. So when I got out the car, I can see people looking at me. I was looking at them. They already saw that I just came down from the clinic. And then it was like, have you came for the same reason? No one saying what the reason was, but they were looking at me and laughing and giggling. And I was like, yep, we're here.
Yeah.
And it was just, you felt the community. You felt like, yes, we are all here. We've all got this in common, and we're doing this to survive. This is what it's like.
Yeah.
We're doing this to continue us to be able to put food on the table.
Yeah, and pay the mortgage and stuff.
And pay the mortgage. And, and so we got up into the crowd, and that, because there was a queue. We got there 30 minutes early. I thought we would be waiting on the doctor, but no. The story is that the doctor got there early, and he was going to work as long as he can. He wasn't. We heard in the crowd that someone heard from him saying that no one's getting turned away. He's going to see every single person. And there was more people queuing, more cars pulling up. And
so how many people do you think there was at that time? What time was this?
We got there at 9:30, and at that time, I would say that there must have been 50 people.
50 people, okay.
Yeah, and the people who were in front of us were strangers, and by 10 to 15 minutes in that queue, they were our friends.
Wow.
We were chatting to them. We were chatting to the people in front of them who at one point they were strangers. And everyone was just chatting. Everyone was just happy.
There was hope.
There was hope. There was belief. There was fucking hell, this doctor is... We actually have a doctor who's putting his career on the line and who's going to see us. So there is hope, and there is...
So did more people keep turning up?
Turning up. And there was, and then more and more people just turning up. But the queue was taking a long time. It was taking a long, long time to go down, I expected that myself and my partner would return to work that day, but it was going. But to be honest here, I said to my wife, this is like in the UK when these big concert tickets go on, people queue for hours and hours, or they phone for hours and trying to get these tickets. And I said to my wife jokingly, these are like the best concert tickets in the land.
We
were happy. happy to wait. The fact that we had a doctor who was giving it out to us was like, this is unbelievable.
Yeah. So,
and then,
what time did the police turn up? The first time.
So we got there at 9:30, and I think the cops turned up because I think that people were grassing us up. In other words, people were phoning. The neighbours, it was because the clinic was on its own in a little country road, but they always had one or two neighbours that were phoning up because they were seeing the rows of cars parked on the country road.
Yeah.
So I would estimate to say that the police turned up probably about 10:30, 11 o'clock.
All right.
And at that point we started to go, oh no, is this it? And then, as I said, I saw the police car, blue and red flashing lights below on the street, and then they drove up the long hill to the clinic, and then they basically did a U-bolt and turned back. And so at that point, when they, it was still, everyone was still
so they left?
Oh, they left.
Okay.
They left.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, and then they were saying that the police were then stopping people.
What, you mean that they might have put a roadblock up somewhere to stop more people coming?
Well, yes, that's what they did. Eventually, they did that. Because at this point, we're seeing people coming out. People coming out from who've just seen the doctor, and they were like, it's ecstatic.
Wow.
We were even clapping for them because we were so happy for them.
Oh my Lord.
And you could just see they were grinning from ear to ear, and everyone was just excited. And I was saying to my friend, get here, this is the real deal, we are doing this.
Yeah.
And then, again, as I said, we waited for about 4.5 hours, and by that time we had then just reached the small reception. We were inside the building. We were inside the building for about 15 minutes, and next thing you know, the police had turned up, 2 of them, and then a third one being the sergeant. The reason I know that is, well, not only did I saw our badges of rank, but she wanted to speak to the doctor, and I want to say that when she came in, because no one had masks on, no, everyone was just convinced this is a load of bullshit, and so, but when they came in, everyone kind of grabbed their mask. When the police came into the reception, everyone grabbed the mask in panic of getting a fine.
Yeah.
Or getting told off, or any excuse for the police to remove us from this precious opportunity that we could not believe our luck that we have found ourselves in.
Yeah.
But they weren't interested in that. They wanted to speak to the doctor. So the doctor came out, and his exact words...
Can you explain to me, what's he look like? Is he young? Is he old? What was the doctor look like?
The doctor's in his 50s. I would say in his 50s. He has got grey receding hair. He was in I think he had like a whitish shirt on. He was obviously well dressed. He was working. He was doing his good work.
Yeah.
So when he came out, we were like, wow, there he is.
Yeah.
And the first thing he said was, which was staggering to me, he said to the police officer, "Are you here for an exemption too?" And I was just like, you beauty, brilliant. And I was just like, fucking hell, we're going to get this.
Yeah.
We are going to get this. He doesn't care. Well, he does care, but he knows I feel he feels in his heart that he's doing the right thing.
Yeah.
And so I was like, we're going to get this. We're going to get this. And my wife was across from me, so I didn't want to get up because we already felt the intimidation. When the police were in that room, you just felt the intimidation. People were not going to even look up. People were looking to the ground.
Yeah.
And I thought, I'll fucking look them in the eye. And I just looked them in the eye, and I text my wife at this point, because as I said, you don't want to get up.
No.
You don't want to, again, any excuse that the cop just grabs you.
Yeah.
And I just text my wife saying, look, we'll just stick together. At the end of the day, we're here to see the doctor. So
Yeah.
this has nothing to do with them.
That's right.
And I was still thinking, we're going to do this because what can they actually say? He's a doctor and they're just police officers.
Yeah.
And I also then repeated that story because the people who were outside were anxiously waiting. So they wanted to talk to me because I came out of the reception.
Yeah.
And they wanted to speak to me right away to say what was going on in there and what's being said.
Yeah.
And I repeated that story of what the doctor, because I feel it's my duty. Like I'll chat, I will inform people if I can to help them.
Yeah.
Because you had people there, mothers with babies. You had people there who were pregnant. You know, you had kids out there. You had fathers. You had
So there's all families and everything.
everything. And all different professions. Some of them you were showing. Some were in the trade. Some were mechanics. Some were, I believe, police officers.
Oh my
believe
God.
police officers. And I also believe the girl that we were talking to in front of us, she was saying, in this queue of people, there is people from the government.
Wow.
That's what she was saying. So she knows them.
Wow.
So, as I was saying, so I told people in the queue, because as I said, I came out the reception, so I told people in the queue what had just happened, and that was that the doctor came out and said,
So
are you here?
So he'd come in, and now he was in. So what happened then when they what happened when they finally came out?
Oh, well, when they finally came out, the doctor came out with them, and I hoped that he was just showing them away, you know, saying goodbye. But unfortunately, the doctor came out and said, I'm sorry, people, I've tried all I can do now. That's what he said. This is it. This is the end. And we were just, at that point, we were just gutted. We were we were gutted. Then he came outside to see all the people, the big line of people, and he went up to them. And he was Polish, or I think he was Polish. He was Eastern European, you know.
Yeah.
And I actually thought to myself, Michael, I thought, because you've mentioned this in your previous podcasts, that it's a lot of the Europeans that are standing up.
Yeah.
And when I heard that he was Polish, I thought to myself, and no disrespect to any Australians whatsoever, but because what you had previously said, I thought to myself, is this what it takes? People that have seen this type of victimization before, and you know, this tyranny.
Yeah.
Is this what it takes for these people to go, nah, we've seen this before and we're not having it?
Yeah.
And so, as I said, he went up to the different people in the crowd to say, look, I've given everything I can, basically. And at that point, the police formed a line directly outside the clinic.
Really? How many?
Yeah. Oh, there must have been 10.
10.
There must have been 10 because more people turned up at that. More police officers turned up.
Yeah.
And I mean, what were we going to do? Well, we're just going to, burst into his clinic. The kind doctor obviously already said there is nothing that I can do anymore.
Yeah. How was he? Was he upset? Was he shaken, or did he just look?
No, he wasn't shaken at all. That's what I was looking for when the police, when he came out the first time. He wasn't shaken, and in actual fact, I don't know if the police had already been there another day.
Yeah.
You know, but no, he seemed fine.
But how was the crowd then with the police?
Oh, then the crowd was emotional. I saw people cry. There was people in tears. There was people who then started shouting abuse at the police. And I mean, not nasty abuse, but just saying, shame on you, which I felt was justified. And, I even said to the police officer, how can you sleep at night? This is our body, I said to him. This is our body and this is our choice.
And what did they say?
They were straight-faced. They didn't say anything. And to be honest with you, I didn't know. I know that lovely police officer stepped down the other day, and I heard what she had to say. A lot of the officers are with us, you know.
Yeah.
So I didn't know that was going through my mind as well, you know. They were with us. Maybe they were just following orders. But at the end of the day, I said to the officer, "What about your children too, mate?"
Yeah.
You know. You know, it's about time. I feel more police need to step down and stand up with us. But honestly, everyone was good. Even now, Michael, as I speak, it's been a very weird, strange day. I'm currently working on someone.
Let's not go there. Rather than going there, let's finish it up. What happened to all these people? Did they just pack up and drive off? Like, it must have been an enormous job to get all those cars out.
Yeah, well, that's what they did. Everyone just turned around. There were people, I must admit, I think there were people that started taking photos and filming, but I wasn't one of them.
Yeah. Well, that'd be interesting if those films come through. Yeah.
Yeah. I wonder, maybe I should have, maybe I'll regret that, but...
Well, I'm not going to say your name, but Jock, thanks very much for that.
No problem.
That's what a story, man.